Hello. So I have wanted to do one of these videos again for a while, but I am doing another of my no brand tutorials. So the whole point of this type of video, and I've done this several times on my channel, is that I do a look and I don't tell you what brands or products that I'm using. The whole point of that is so that if you ever want to recreate this look, you don't feel the desire of like, okay, I need that palette, I need that mascara, I need that lipstick. It's more just like, maybe look in your collection and see if you already have something you can replicate this with without feeling the need to constantly buy. Because guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, the way that makeup releases have been coming out so rapid fire again is kind of throwing me into a little bit of a tizzy. Now, I am incredibly thankful to receive the PR that I do, but it's felt like a lot of like new release, and I just want to play with some of my older stuff. So I mean, like, that's what I'm doing today, and I don't mean stuff necessarily that's 10 years old, but nonetheless, I just want to play with some of my makeup in general, and I have a look sort of in mind. Like, I have an idea, a vibe in mind. The vibe that I have in my mind today is due to the fact that right now it's 39 degrees outside. Okay, it is 39 degrees outside, which means winter is coming quickly, which means the holidays are coming quickly, and I'm not ready yet. It is not even Halloween, so I am not ready for that yet. I want to do a proper like fall look, which means oranges, which means warm browns, just warm tones overall. Like, everything I have in front of me is warm toned because I feel like also lately, a lot of the collections that have been coming out lately, while incredibly beautiful, they are so cool toned. A lot of them just have like, you know, grays and taupes and blues and purples and like deep foresty greens. And I love all those colors, but I love a warm toned eye look, a warm toned cheek, a warm toned lip. So I am going to put warmth on my face today, and you're going to be here for it. Also, one thing that's always worth mentioning, I do put the products that I'm using in the description box down below, but I do encourage you, before you even look there, think about your own makeup collection and what you already have to see if you have something that you could use before buying new products, because life is hard right now. Let's use the good stuff. Let's use what we have rather than constantly buying new whenever we can. So the very first thing I want to do, I do plan on wearing a kind of like bolder lip today. So I have a kind of like heavier lip mask that I want to use. By the way, I am going to try to disguise all the brands that I'm using. The brushes, I probably can't disguise. I'm not going to necessarily mention them, but those are the only ones I'm not trying to actively hide. But I'm just putting on a thicker lip mask to sit on while we do this. Something just that really you can pack on, and it really gives your lips hydration while you are doing the rest of your face. It just feels so good. All right, for my base, I am thinking that I want a glowy look. I always want a glowy look, but I really do want hydrated skin with an overall glow. Now, I am going to use like a highlighter later, but I do just want that overall glow. So I am going to go in first with a sort of glowy base. I just applied it to a brush, and I'm going to do one half of my face so you can see what I'm talking about. There's not going to really be a difference in like color for me, even though like the product that I'm using does have a tiny bit of a tint, but it's more just like you see that overall glow that I feel like just makes me look like I have incredibly healthy skin. Like you can see here, I still have a little bit of like natural skin glow, but here, ooh, that looks so hydrated and like just pretty. And I don't put any of this on my forehead ever. You can do whatever you like, but because I have bangs, I've talked about this before, and I had somebody like call me out in a weird way before, but because I have bangs, I really don't put much makeup on my forehead. I will put some powder to reduce the shine, and if my foundation color is like drastically different than my face color, then I'll add some foundation up there, but it's usually not, so I don't feel the need to put makeup in a place that's covered up anyway. But look at that glow. Ooh, okay, so I'm already on the way to what I would like, and I am doing my skin first today, just because I want to have that base down. Oh my gosh, I forgot how much I love just a glowy base. I look like a greased up turkey fresh out of the oven, and I'm pumped about it. Next, for my foundation, and I'm also even just using the same brush I just used to show that you don't need 9 million brushes, I'm using a skin tint, which is what I always use in general, what I try to always use. And I'm just going to build this up really slowly, because my goal with this, and this is a glowy skin tint too, I am going to use powder to kind of dull down the glow in places where I don't need it, but my goal with this is literally just evening out the skin tone without covering stuff up, because I like freckles. And you know what I also like seeing? That I know a lot of people, and if you're not comfortable with it, you do whatever you like with your skin. But like, I have some darker spots on my face that aren't these, like this right here is not a freckle. That is, I believe, just called an age spot. I really don't mind that because you know what? Aging is a gift. It is a gift. We get to do it. And the alternative is pretty shitty if we don't age, right? Such a little bit went such a long way. Now, I feel like for a lot of you, this is going to look way too glowy. And I agree that I am going to take some powder and tamper this down. But first, I want to add some concealer. For my concealer, I'm going in like very light. I don't know if you can tell how little product is on my brush. But again, I want the focus to be just on almost like natural looking glowy skin. And I'm just patting like a little bit of this under my eyes just to kind of brighten things up rather than cover things up. One thing I will say is that this concealer that I'm using right now is a little bit older and it is drying out a tiny bit, and this is the first time I've ever like really felt it. It might be time for it to go in the declutter bin soon. All right, I am going to powder just a little bit. Now, I am going to be using a cream blush. So I know a lot of people do all creams before they add powder, but I'm not going to be adding a powder on top of the cream blush. I want that to just be glowy. So I am going in today with personally a loose powder, but guys, any translucent powder will do. But one thing I do like to do is kind of press it into my hand, and then I put the puff on my face, and I'm only putting it in places that I don't want to be super glowy. So you're going to see like, I'm still going to keep a lot of that glow intentionally, but like, I don't need like this area to be glowy, you know? I also usually pat down here with whatever's left on the sponge. And I'm also going to, like I said, just to tamper down like the natural glow / oils on my forehead. I just use a very little bit of powder there, but like you can see, I still have this glow. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love glowy skin. From here, I am going in with a powder bronzer today. I usually like a cream bronzer, but I'm feeling a powder one, and I just want, again, I'm going for warmth today. I'm going for warmth, so I'm just really adding like just enough of this to warm up the skin, but I don't want it to look like, you know, a different skin tone than I have in general. I just want it to look like the areas where the sun hits you and really just, again, just warms up the skin nicely. This in particular is like a good bronzer, but just whatever powder bronzer works for you, or cream bronzer. But in general, like I do like to have that kind of touch to bring a little bit of like life and dimension back to the face. I really love this. Now for the blush. I love a cream blush, but of course you can do this with a powder blush, anything like that. But the one that I am using today, I will admit this is a sort of unique color for my collection, but it is a warm, bronzy brown blush. And I'm hoping it's not too brown. I'm hoping this one's not too brown because I'm hoping for, I really want just a warm cheek overall. Now this one does have quite a bit of glow to it. So we'll see if I wind up also putting on highlighter or not. Oh, okay. See, this is like just beautifully warm on me. That's why, okay, I was looking at it at first. I was so nervous about using it. And now I'm remembering just how incredibly lovely this is. Ooh, now I'm probably going to go back after my eye look and apply more blush. That's what I have a tendency to do. But this is looking so pretty. And again, look at the glow here. Look at that glow. And that's from the base. That is from the blush. That is from not powdering over that glowy spot. That's lovely. All right, I'm going to go in with a very little bit of highlighter. Like I'm tapping this, it's a powder highlighter. I'm tapping all of it off the brush. Yeah, because this is a fairly intense highlighter on its own. So I took the tiniest amount and spread that just between both cheeks, but like it still just catches the light nicely. This is a warm toned highlighter. This is the other thing. I feel like lately, so many highlighters that are coming out are all like blue toned, green toned, like very cool toned again. And that's great for a lot of people, but I love a warm toned highlight. Oh my God. Oh, sorry. But I love a warm toned highlight. So I am going to go ahead and use a setting spray. Use whatever setting spray you have. One thing before we move on to the eyes, I'm just going to be putting on a tinted brow gel, and I'm not going to lie, if you've ever watched my channel, it's hard to hide the brand of this. I'm going to go like this, but I only own one tinted brow gel, but I do love a tinted brow gel in general because I feel like it just polishes things up without making it look like too shellacked. And sometimes I love a shellacked laminated brow, but for the day-to-day, it's usually something like this. All right, it is time to do the eyes. So I am starting off, and this is something that you can completely skip doing if we're being honest, but I'm starting off as my base. I am using a warm toned liquid eyeshadow. This is, again, really just to bring in even more warmth because I know that the whole look that I'm going for is warm. So you can see it's you know, definitely not my skin tone, but it's also not like a fluorescent orange or anything like that. I really like using a color base when I can, if I know what my look is going to kind of turn out to be, just to keep within the same vibes. And most liquid shadows, by the way, not all of them, but most liquid shadows set down as like a really good base. You just kind of got to wait for it to dry a little bit, but this gives us a nice clean canvas. All right, here we go. Like I said, I'm not telling you what stuff I'm using, but one thing I am going to tell you as a spoiler, I guess, is that I'm using 2 palettes for this. And the reason that I'm kind of doing that is to show you also that like something doesn't have to be your perfect palette. Like you don't have to be like, okay, if I'm going to create a look, it has to be with this one palette. If you have multiple palettes in your collection, you can grab the green from this one and the light green from that one and the dark green from that one. You know what I mean? Or you can take them out and rearrange them yourself. But this doesn't mean that you have to purchase a palette because it gives you one look. Does that make sense at all? All right, my liquid shadow has dried down enough where it still has a little bit of tack to it, but it is not wet. So first things first, I'm going in with a fluffy brush and I am taking a shade that is like a peachy orange. And with this shade, I am just going up into the crease, but I'm taking this all the way up. Like I'm taking this to the brow bone. I want this to be a blown out, beautifully warm look. There is not going to be a single cool tone in this eye look today, folks. And I'm even taking the brush and really swirling it on this outer corner just to buff it out. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I know that it's because they're direct opposites on the color wheel, but blue eyes, orange eyeshadow, chef's kiss every time. It's so funny to me when I first started doing makeup. And when I say doing makeup, I always mean on myself. I'm not a makeup artist. I never ever claimed to be. But when I first started like playing with makeup, maybe I'll say, I always took every single eyeshadow look all the way up to the brow bone, all the way up. And I loved it, and I stopped doing it for so long. But now once in a while, I feel like it's the vibe, and I can't explain why. I don't know. I kind of like it. And this color, while it's incredibly beautiful, is in a lot of different palettes in this world. So again, just further reinforcement. You don't need a specific palette for a specific color, okay? I think I'm going to go a little like all over the place here. So next I am going into a matte bright orange. This is just straight orange. And I am going to, ooh, that's a little more neon than I was expecting. But we are putting another color over this. I am putting a sparkle over this. But this color is just going on the lid. And I do admit this is definitely way more neon than I was expecting. This is my first time using this shade in this specific palette, I will say. But wow, that is a neon orange. And I am going to go back into the crease with some deeper colors. But I just wanted to kind of get this lid color down. Oh, that is, I'm not going to lie, that's a beautiful color. This is not what I intended today, though. I definitely do not want super neon. But we're going to work with it. I was watching a video from Angela Bright the other day, and she put on a color and she's like, that's not how it was supposed to look. But what I loved is that instead of taking it all off, she was like, well, we're just going to match it on the other eye and then we're going to make it work. And I'm like, that's technically what I always try to do, right? Like, I don't ever want to take off a makeup look halfway through. Like, no one ever wants to, but I try to never do that. But anyway. All right, to work with this, I am now going to go in with a, don't even want to call this medium tone brown because it's deeper than medium tone, but it's still a very warm brown. And with this, I'm going to put this going up into the crease. And I'm fine with this color actively showing. I'm going to be going back and forth with that peach color that we already had down and this dark brown, like more directly in the crease. So I want you all to tell me, and be honest, do you agree with me that there's been a lot of cool tone palettes and cool tone shadows and cool tone lipsticks coming out? And I Really love it. And honestly, I'm so happy for the cool tone lovers because I feel like for so many years, we were getting palettes that looked like this. We were getting warm tones and I was in my seventh heaven over here. But like I kept hearing people calling for cool tones, and they just weren't getting them. And now I'm not going to lie, like I feel like the pendulum has kind of swung the other way and it's mostly cool tones now. So now my warm tone loving heart is over here like, hi, what about me? Like seriously, warm grungy tones are the way to my heart. I love warm grunge vibes. Warm grunge. Warm grunge. Is that going to be the name of my first collab palette someday? I do not have a collab palette in the works or anything, just to make that very clear. But I'm like, warm grunge could be kind of a cool name, right? I'm also going to take that same color and pat this right on the outer corner, but I'm going to put a deeper color even over here. I just want this to start to anchor this look down a little bit. Using that same brush, I'm going to go into an even deeper brown and I'm tapping off like all the excess, all the excess. This is going to be my deepest color on the outer corner. And I just want this to bring that kind of smoke factor. And again, I am going to be patting another color over this orange to make it sparkly, but I just want to get this outer corner down nice and deep to really, oh my God, I love, 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 love fall orange look so much. Oh my God. All right, with my finger, I'm taking a tiny, tiny bit of a glitter adhesive, just a little bit, and patting that all over the orange. And then I'm going to let that sit for a couple seconds and just let that get tacky before I put on my sparkly shadow. This is the sparkly shadow I'm going in with. It is a yellowed orange. It really looks like orange juice, but it's got these gold flecks in it that are so beautiful. I'm really hoping that helps. And now I'm just going to pat this directly onto the lid. Oh yeah. Yep. Do you see though? Okay, so obviously now you don't see a neon lid, but that orange is still like really peeking through and really turning this into a lovely look. Oh my goodness. This is just making me so happy. So now for under the eyes, first I'm going in with that light kind of peachy orange, and this is going to be the shade that goes the lowest, and it's not even going to go that low. This is just to help really like connect the look. I keep getting shadow in places where I should not be getting shadow. Then I'm going back in with the medium tone brown and just pressing that right against this lash line. I am torn between, I kind of want to do a thick black liner, but at the same time, I'm wondering if I should do a brown liner. I think I'm going to stick with black. So I'm just going to use a black liquid liner and I'm going to do a big fatty wing on both sides. I can't really talk as I'm doing liquid liner, so just use whatever liquid liner you have. What's funny is I said specifically the phrase big fatty liquid liner, but this is a fairly thin line because I actually got my wings pretty sharp today. So I'm going to run with it. I want to line my upper waterline with black. And because I want to keep this sort of smoky brown vibes, I'm going to use a brown pencil liner on my lower waterline. Now for mascara, I'm using one that is sort of a thickening mascara as opposed to lengthening because I want my lashes to just look like loud and proud over here. I want them to be big fatty without having to add fake lashes because I just do not wear fake lashes on a daily basis. I love the way they look so much, but I don't wear them that often. So I just want to feel comfortable and kind of hot in my look. Okay, it is time for lips. So first things first, I'm going to take off what's left of this lip mask. Now what's nice about lip masks in general, this one is very good, is that a lot of times they just, most of it has already sunken in, so there's not a whole lot to take off, but my lips do feel like nice and hydrated now. I am going to start by lining my lips with a pretty dark lip liner and filling in the corners on the top and bottom. Then I'm going to fill in the rest with like a lighter, warm-toned pencil. Something else that's nice about doing a lip mask first is that I feel like lip liners blend more easily and just more evenly. This would even be kind of a fire lip by itself, but I am going in with an orange lipstick. So this is just straight up orange, and I'm going to keep this mainly to like the center because I want that deepness on the outer edges still. Oh, I love this color. Oh, the last thing I'm trying to decide, and I don't know if it would ruin the look at all. I have a metallic orange lipstick, and I'm wondering if I want to dot just a little bit on top of this. You know what? It's makeup. Let's do it. So this is a metallic, like golden orange. I'm going to see what happens if I just put this right in the center. So that definitely gave it more of a brown tone, but guess what? I freaking love it. So also, like I kind of knew I was going to do, I'm going to go back and I'm going to apply just a little bit more of that blush just to kind of match because the lips are deep and the eyes are bold and oh, yes. So here is the final look, and guys, this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted fall, I wanted warm tones, I wanted deep browns and like oranges and glitter on the eyes. Like, I love this look so much. Like, this just feels good, and honestly, it makes me feel like fall is not yet gone, which is good because I am not ready for winter. I know a lot of people have what, like, I guess is sometimes called like reverse seasonal depression, where they hate the warm weather so much that it actually gets them depressed. I am very much the opposite, where cold weather does not do well for my mental health. So I am soaking in every single bit of fall that I can. So let me know, what do you think of this look? I really, really like it. Again, if you are interested, every product is going to be listed down below, but I can't scream it loud enough. Please, please check your collection first. See if you have a sparkly orange. You probably have a black liner or like a brown pencil for your lips. Like, you might have these things. So check there first. Everything will be listed if you're interested. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you like this video. I love, love, love doing these. Play with what you have. Use the good stuff. Tomorrow is never promised, so use your makeup that you have right now. If you liked this video, I'll go ahead and put my last no brand tutorial up here on the screen so you can check it out. But please give this video a thumbs up before you leave. That helps out my channel so much more than you know, and it tells people that these are the kind of videos that people like seeing. You all can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Those are all Glitter Fallout, and as always, 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 and forever, you all are super freaking rock stars, and I love you so much with my whole heart, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!